Sterling Holmes of FanSided joined now by a man who was unstoppable running the fullback dive both in Madden and in real life, Mike Alstott. Mike, how are you?
I'm excellent. I appreciate you having me.
Of course, and I do want to start with your great partnership that you do have with USAA. I know you've done this really cool event where you're helping coach and train local military members at USAA's Salute to Service boot camp. Can you talk a little more about this?
Yeah, it was a great day at the USAA Salute to Service Boot Camp today. Interacting with our local military in Tampa Bay here, and just giving them an experience of a lifetime, and being having them interact in combine drills. And I was coaching them up a little bit on some different techniques and stuff like that. And it was just an unbelievable, just showing my appreciation for them, and just interacting with them and being with them. And it was a great morning and early afternoon for all of us. They really enjoyed it, and we all enjoyed it actually. Not just them. I was more intrigued probably than they were. I was asking more questions to them, and kind of like asking about their jobs and what they exactly do and how their hours go and stuff like that. And just, just trying to, understand a little bit. My dad was a Marine, and he was in the military. He was in Vietnam, and so I kind of understood it, but I didn't understand it all the way. Right? He was more like in combat and stuff like that. He was deployed and stuff, and so, and these guys are. There were actually some that were, in combat and doing different jobs. Like the communication and all that stuff. And it was really cool to hear. You know what I mean? It was really cool, and hearing a lot of that stuff. And I was very appreciative of what they did, and I was very honored to be there today and represent USA.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool event that you did. Very neat. And I know you got to go and do this after Bucs practice as well. I do want to talk a little bit about this. I know it's very early in the offseason right now. We're still ramping up, with training camp and all of that. But what did you see from the Buccaneers? What stood out so early on for them?
How much they gel and their camaraderie, and and how close that team is. It kind of reminds me of the teams that I was growing up, within the Buccaneers for 12 years, and how tight we were and tight knit we were, and hung out with each other. And I see them out doing the same thing, and being a part of each other's lives off the field and on the field and stuff. And that means a lot when it comes to getting in that huddle, right? In your boys, right? And you're going to stick up for each other. And I think that's going to go a long way. I just, I think they did a great job in the off season in free agency, and also in signing their own players back, let alone getting some draft picks and stacking up that wide receiver core a little bit, for injuries and stuff. And you know what, our running game took off last year with Bucky, and our passing game I think was pretty much there. Um, for the last couple of years that Baker's been here and stuff. And now I think we have a 1-2 punch, a combination of you know, a defense can't concentrate on one thing and say, hey, stop the run or stop the pass. You know what I mean? You got to be more, and we're pretty balanced. And I think if we stay healthy, I think things are good. And our defense is always our defense in Tampa. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
always have that defense, and
Yeah.
um, I think sky's the limit for us this year if all the pieces can stay healthy.
Yeah. I want to run something by you real quick here because the NFL has adjusted, especially defensively, obviously, to pass happy league at this point, but that means linebackers now getting lighter. You're seeing them be lighter so they can, guard the pass with tight ends and running backs. You're seeing defensive linemen get a little lighter because they're trying to get after the quarterback. Way fewer Vince Wilfork type of guys who are there to stuff the run. With that being said, are you surprised we've not seen a more offensive philosophical change where the bruising running backs, maybe even bringing a fullback back into the fold? Again, I think that makes a lot of sense. You're seeing Derrick Henry with Baltimore. You saw Saquon Barkley last year with the Eagles. Or are you think we might see a little cyclical change?
You just named two. You just named two right there that they're going to be run first, right? And I think even with our three tight end set, you know what I mean? I mean, we can do anything out of that play action, and then we're bringing that to H back and back in the backfield and putting it in motion, and maybe not 5 yards deep, going across motion, but kind of like a H back, as of a fullback and lead blocker type of thing. But you're seeing it a little bit, you know what I mean, with the successful teams, like you said, and they are looking for that running back. You see in the Green Bay Packers last year go out and get old boy from the Raiders, right? It's like that. What was his name? I can't
Josh
remember.
Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, and he had a hell of a year too last year, right? Running the ball. I think you're seeing it more and more going back to a little bit more, and kind of like how it was back in the day. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to bring a true fullback back. I think they're going to use that kind of like that, the H back type of scenario and go three
Yeah.
tight end set, two tight end set. So
Would you have liked to play in this era now, though? You see these lighter linebackers sitting here going, what? They're no longer 260, they're 230. I can bulldoze these guys.
yeah, it's a different game. I mean, it really is. I played in the best era for myself. You know what I mean? For that situation. But the Buccaneers, we didn't have 260 when we were in the top five defense. I mean, seriously, it was all about gap control and getting your drops and stuff. I mean, Derek Brooks wasn't more than 230, right? Derek Brooks,
Yeah.
a middle linebacker, Shelton Quarles for 5, 6 years. They're all in that 225, 230 range and stuff like that. But again, I think it's the scheme that you're in, right? I think it's the scheme that you're in that's going to prevail. But it's it's going to be interesting here, and I think we got a good chance if we stay healthy.
Yeah. You obviously played under two phenomenal head coaches, Tony Dungy and Jon Gruden, both seemingly very different guys. What was it like being under both of those phenomenal head coaches?
Dungy taught us a lot as young bucks, molded us, created us, um, helped us become mature young men, responsible young men in and being involved in the community, doing different stuff. Not just X's and O's. John was all about X and O's and everything, but he was really good at it, and there's no question about it. He was a very good at game planning and creating plays and scheming and stuff like that. And it's not like Coach Dungy wasn't. I mean, Coach Dungy wasn't an OC or a DC. I mean, he was the manager of his group, right? His team, and they both did a great job. They're excited to play for.
The evolution of Tampa Bay as a football town. Obviously, before you got there, Tampa Bay football was not really a huge football city. Your iteration came around, your era, and changed Tampa into I guess, a huge football city that it is right now. What was it? What have you seen, I guess, from the evolution of Tampa Bay?
I think from the time before I got there, the time I got there until what it is now, they had always wanted to be a football city. It's just they weren't good, right? They had one winning season, and I'm not saying that and knocking it because I'm very fortunate to come in the era I did here in Tampa, rather than going to a San Francisco or a Dallas Cowboys where they were winning all the time, and they had championships. And I was very fortunate to be with a group of guys, all these Hall of Famers now that are coming from Tampa, right? Be a part of them for 12 years and put Tampa on the map and win a Super Bowl and be able to do some unbelievable things and bring back that community, right? And build this community as a football town. And we're get her doners around here in Tampa. It's a get her done type of town. It's like they're very passionate about their football, but again, they don't like losing either, right? And then we went into a little slump, and now you see in the last 5 years, that we're playoff contenders, after Tom Brady won the Super Bowl here in 2020. You know what I mean? So it's it's a football town, and they deserve football, and they're going to get it. We have the makeup of a team that's going to be competitive, and we stay healthy. We should be there deep in playoffs.
Again, Mike Alstott with his phenomenal partnership that he does have with USAA and that great event that he helped host, the Salute to Service Boot Camp. Again, a great thing that Mike is doing. Six-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, Mike Alstott. Mike, really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.